Hey guys, what's up? I would like to talk about the newest Tavern Brawl, the Heroic Tavern Brawl, and you have likely already heard about this, otherwise I will quickly talk about it. So this mode is basically exactly the same format as Arena, but instead of being presented with three different heroes to choose one from and then draft your deck from random cards, you can actually pick any class you want and construct your own standard deck, so in a standard format. And just like in Arena, once you locked in your deck, you cannot change it anymore. And you play until you either lost 3 times or you got 12 wins. So once again, just like in Arena, the matchmaking is also very Arena-like. So let's say you're at a score of 3-1, then you're likely matched up against other players that have a score of 3-1, or maybe something similar such as 5-2 or so. And another thing, however, in this Tavern Brawl is that there's nothing for free. You don't have a free try here in this Heroic Tavern Brawl. And you also don't get a card pack here for getting your first win or anything like that. And there's another huge difference towards Arena, and that is just the price here. So that is 1000 gold, and like that's just ridiculous. And as you can see here, playing towards 12 wins or 3 losses. So in the end, it is very similar to Arena. However, we can now look at the rewards that are presented here. So Heroic Tavern Brawl rewards. If you don't get a single win and lose 3 times in a row, you only get 1 pack. So once again, you pay 1000 gold and you're only getting 1 pack in return. So that's the basic Arena reward. In Arena you actually already get more. You already get 20 gold or something, even if you don't win at all. And to get even with the entrance fee of 1000, you likely need something around 6 wins, so getting 7 packs, which are worth 700 gold, and you can get around 250 dust and 250 gold. So here, maybe you can say that you make a slight profit if you roll pretty well with the dust and the gold. But I mean, once again, getting 6 wins is already pretty tough, and this is just not your normal arena run. This mode is, as they state, for very, very experienced players. And in the end, it's actually not that similar to Arena because you don't draft random decks somehow. In the end, it's very similar to ranked play, ranked standard play at a really high rank. So you should likely play this if you're at least familiar with the Arena format, but it's much more important that you're likely legendary ranked player, or once again at a really, really high rank 1 or 2 or 3. Otherwise, it's just too much gold to pay for the outcome that you can get. Because even if you get around 7 or 8 or 9 wins on Arena, Arena is still played by a lot of casual players, and once again, this is already aiming for very skilled and very experienced players. And maybe to underline that even more and what these rewards mean, you can here see the usual Arena outcomes for the runs. And since this is the Arena format, the results will pretty much be the same. So 50% of the people will only get towards 2 wins or even less. 65% of the people will end with 3 wins or less. And when we see what that means, 2/3 of the people will end up with 4 or fewer packs and only very little gold, and dust, or maybe not even that. It's pretty ridiculous. And when you look at it, like the really huge rewards come here with 9 or more wins. However, 9 or more wins, 98% will not make it there. So only 2% of the players will really get here. And of course, what they show to you is this really huge reward here with 50 packs, 1100 dust, 1100 gold and 3 legendaries, and here's pretty much what that would look like. But once again, the amount of players who gets that is only about not even 1% who really make it to this point. So my first advice here is really that you shouldn't play this mode for the rewards, but more likely for the experience and the challenge. It's extremely high challenging, so if the money is no issue for you and you really want that insane challenge, then this is the mode for you. And as they stated already, it's for really experienced and skilled players who get to the legendary ranked on ladder pretty much all the time, and who are maybe even bored there, so they can play this. But yeah, I mean, my personal thoughts on this that I would like to get to now is that the idea of this is really good and really interesting, and to deliver something towards those high skilled players is really nice for a change, as Tavern Brawl is mostly for newer players or just more casual players, I would say. This is a new change. And it's also interesting because it could become a new mode. Maybe there will come something like Constructed Arena or so, and they're testing it here with this Tavern Brawl. And another thing that you can do is, of course, watch streamers. Watch streamers go at this, and just due to the high stakes, it's really interesting. But my biggest concern with this is really the very low rewards. I mean, this high end here with golden legendaries and this huge amount of packs here doesn't really make up for it, because once again, the amount of players who make it towards those amount of wins, they're so small. There are only so very few percent who go to these huge amounts of wins. And once again, I mean, the players who play this, they're extremely experienced already, so you might got to legendary the last 5 months and you still end up with something like 4 wins. So you don't even get back your entrance fee, even though you did actually so well, even though you're such a skilled player. And yeah, I think that's really a huge concern, that a lot of people might get salty with this. And I think the biggest issue is also that it doesn't really explain it that well to newer players. Of course, it says it's for really experienced players, but I think it's already a little bit teasing that people say like, okay, I will go at it nevertheless, and I will just try what I can do here. Like, I can show them still, and you don't get a single win, and you only get 1 pack for that amount of gold. And I think for newer players who are used to Tavern Brawl being something for newer players, being something very casual, where you actually get a pack for free, they maybe should have explained this even better. And I mean, even these high stakes here, this high entrance fee, doesn't make up for it completely. So what I think is that they could maybe have done this as a completely new mode, maybe below here or so, stating that they want to test something, or just give another Tavern Brawl. Another idea could be that they say, okay, there's this mode for 1000 gold, but we also make another mode for, let's say, 100, or similar to Arena for 150, with rewards that are similar to Arena, to just give players that don't have the money for this to play something as well, so that they still have a Tavern Brawl. Another idea, of course, would also be to have 2 Tavern Brawls at the same time, to say, okay, this is the one for the very skilled players, and then we also have one for newer players. Or maybe also go with the times, like usually you have no Tavern Brawl between Monday and Wednesday, so they could maybe have done another Tavern Brawl within those few days. But yeah, once again, I think the idea overall is pretty good, just the way they presented it, and especially for newer players, to pretty much just give them this screen and say, hey, you can get insane rewards here. But then on the other hand, they don't really want everyone to play this, but only very few people that are at the absolute top of the ladder. So I would say the biggest problem was with the way Blizzard approached this and how they presented this, that they of course said it's only for very few and very specific players. But on the other hand, they didn't give our players something to maybe go instead. And yeah, once again, I think they could have easily done this by just saying there's this one mode where you pay 1,000 and another one where you pay only 100 or so. But yeah, I don't want to say that this is too bad overall. Still, something diverse and something different to the usual Tavern Brawl you have. But there, those are mostly my thoughts, and just to newer players, simply don't do it. Simply don't waste your gold here, as I won't either. Because once again, unless you reach Legendary several times, I think this is just a waste of gold. And even then, you shouldn't just play this looking towards the rewards here, but rather looking towards a challenge. Like, that should be the main goal for this. So yeah, those were my thoughts on this Tavern Brawl. I hope it was interesting and informative, and thanks for watching.